not bad. What do you think? She kind of look cute? Last time I tried to get an opinion from you. Okay, Epicurean, loves to travel, make me laugh and I'm yours. I've heard that description one too many times. People say that, but they don't believe it. Bloody hell. What's that? Oh yeah. Sure, I should feel heartbroken, but I guess in the words of Frank Zappa, broken hearts are for assholes. Well, the only thing I can really rely on here is good old lady beer. Now which one should I drink tonight? So, continuing my tradition with the New England IPAs, I'm going for a Shelton made by Ushlag. And yes, it's brewed in Hochelaga, so it's not false advertising. I'm doing the New England IPA. Very tasty one I've had numerous times. And even managed to get on tap one time too. So I'm more than okay with that. The only issue? This one's a strong one. It's a 7.5% fucker. Well, what can you do? Sometimes you gotta have the nice strong stuff to hit the right spot. Especially on the end of a weekend too. Hard to believe it goes by so fast, doesn't it? Well, cheers everyone, and oh yeah, cheers Yoshi. Really full-bodied and citrusy, more than has my approval. Something I'm admitting I'm enjoying right now is whipping up a lot of my own sauces I used to enjoy from a long time ago. I've done my own bechamel sauce I finally perfected. I've made a good Alfredo sauce. Marinara tomato sauce I'm not going to count because that anyone could do in their sleep. But another one I enjoyed from the past was also the Rosé sauce. I'm sure you know it, but just to remind you in case you're not really cooking friendly, Rosé is like that pinkish tomato sauce you get in most restaurants. Usually from my experience it goes really well with a ravioli or so. And it's very creamy, thick, very rich. And I kind of want to whip one up today to kind of wrap up weekend activities. So let's move on to the kitchen and let's get started. The only downside is my companion over here is probably not going to want me to abandon him. And he ain't going to help me in the kitchen. I don't need him getting fur all over this. You know what thought occurred to me about these pots? I'm sure a lot of people in the oldies had used this to give people haircuts. Like you would put a pot over their head, you cut completely around the rim to cut off all the bangs. And one thing I imagine that with this, everybody would basically have a mushroom cut. Or I guess kind of look like Mo from the Three Stooges. Man, what a time we've evolved into. But I guess nobody does it this way anymore. Then again, if nobody can get their haircut because it's not an essential service, well people, you have an option now. The old-fashioned pot. But I'm not here to talk about the pots for haircuts. I'm here to do my sauce. So, I'm going to do a lot of tomato in here with maybe a bit of cream. But just like any other basic cooking, your base is always going to start with a bit of oil, onion, and garlic. And your quantities are going to vary as well. First, you would start with 2 cloves of garlic, minced up, along with, I guess, a medium-sized minced onion. I don't know if this is medium size in terms of white onions, because for some people, medium could be bigger than that. This one could be considered a small. I guess size doesn't matter at all, right? Right? Well, let's get go mincing on this. Well, people, I'm sure you've seen me chop onions and you've seen me chop garlic from time to time. You don't always need to see that. You know what it's like. And it's not exactly the most engaging of activities, unless you try to do stupid stuff like sniffing an onion like an idiot. Oh yeah, right. Yeah, up on the link at the top, you'll see back at that time when I sniffed an onion and I thought I was game over for a second. But on to more important matters. I've got my medium onion chopped, and I've got my garlic minced. Instead of going for 2 cloves, I went for 3 to get a bonus one for my taste and purposes. And if anyone out there is trying to say that you can't go above 2 cloves of garlic in a recipe, well, I got a bridge to sell you. It's over in my backyard now. But I'm going to get the oven on over here on this burner. And in here I got 2 tablespoons of olive oil with 2 tablespoons of unsalted butter. So get that to medium heat. And then once it starts melting, we can start sauteing the rest of this sucker. And speaking of suckers, I'm chipping away at this thing. Yeah, really good, but this is not one you want to overdo. Now I gotta figure out if I have enough tomato sauce for this recipe or if I overbought this time. I was going by the number of ounces, but I didn't see it on this packaging, so fingers crossed everybody. Hope for the best. At least a minute has gone by and this is looking really well. Once again, whenever you saute onion and garlic together, it gives such a heavenly taste and smell too. I think the next step is add my tomato sauce in. Just a can of regular tomato sauce. I'm taking a bit of a chance over here because I'm probably going to be using the second can that I bought. So I still haven't figured out if I have 15 ounces or more in one of these cans. Actually, hold on. I'm just going to Google that. Be right back. Google machine, don't let me down. Let's see, milliliters to ounces. What we got here? So 680 milliliters. Oops. 22 fluid ounces. And then it says 2 cans of 15 ounces. Bah! I'm going to take my chance. I'm going to put a second can in. At best, the tomato proportion is going to be a little bit higher than the cream proportion. But I still want to give it a pinkish hue. Because no matter what, plain tomato sauce is still going to be red enough. Anything else? Wait, what am I going on about? That's what happens when you try to work with the metric system when you're used to imperial in some cases. But it's all good. It just means that it's not going to be as pink, but I'll still have plenty of reserves to use for the rest of the week. Alright, that's lovely. Got 2 cans of tomato sauce. Next, you're going to add 2 tablespoons of brown sugar. This recipe didn't call for it to pack in like you do normally, so I'm just going to put it in like that. Stir that in pretty well too. And in case you're watching and wondering, no, I did not reuse the spoon after I used the oil. I washed it off because I don't want to oil up my sugar, just in case I need to use it in the future. And then finally, you just need to add a little bit of salt and pepper for a taste. They don't give you specific instructions. You just shake it or crunch it, and then you hope for the best too. Should get the job done, so mix it well. Then put it on low heat, and then you can let it cook for, I believe, 20 minutes. Is that right? Cook over low heat for 25 to 30 minutes. Alright, so I'm going to put the timer on for 30 minutes. That should give me more than enough time to let this stew in its own juices and go super tasty. Of course, you will have to come here and stir it every now and then, just to make sure that things don't burn. And there you have it, the start of a really tasty rosé sauce. That should give me plenty of time to whip up some noodles here and possibly have another brew at the same time. We shall see. Looking good over here, still got to stir up the sauce a bit. And I'm going to be preparing my pasta in advance too, because apparently I'm actually going to need some of the pasta water to kind of liquefy the sauce as well. As much as I keep saying I'm not going to give you a pasta tutorial for how it cooks, and then end up doing it, today I'm not going to do it. You know exactly where to find it. Right here, top right corner. Click there. Thank me later. Okay, but today, I still got some overstock of spaghetti I should probably put to use. Like I said in the beginning of the video, typically you could have this with maybe some tortellini, maybe some ravioli, but truth is, rosé sauce goes good with anything. I mean, what's not to like? Creamy pink sauce. Should be ready very soon, and then I'll get it all integrated. And my tropical New England IPA is starting to get to the bottom of its course. I might need another brew to get through this thing. I think I have an idea. Voila! There's a brand new brewer I found out about that I've never tried out before. I'm kind of curious. This is from, what's the brewer? Artisanal Jusqu'à l'eau. Well, it's from the Overhop Brewing Company. And I guess the joke there is that it seems to involve bones and whatnot. Because this one is called Blonde. Wait, what's this? Bière de soif. Well, of course, if you're thirsty, you're going to drink beer anyways. But this one, take a look at the cover over here. It's like a face with a nice long lock of hair. Actually, no, there's a face right here, but then there's a skull on this side. I guess the way I was looking is that the skull somehow is doesn't have any flesh, and yet it has a massive, luscious lock of hair. How do skeletons maintain their hair? Seriously, how do they do it? I want to find out how. But the beauty of this one is that it's only a 4.2%er. It's like a nice way to get me back down to earth after tackling a tropical fucker. Let's see what this one is like. Judging by the fact they say it's like over-hopped, I'm going to assume there's a bit of hoppiness like an IPA. But hopefully not too hoppy, because as much as I enjoy it, sometimes the hops can get to you from time to time. And now, Felix, what do you think? Pretty good. There's a taste in here I can't really put my finger on, but I guess I'll figure it out later on, because right now, pasta's ready to cook. I'll get to it in a second. Well, this pasta looks like it's about ready to go, despite the fact that I'm trying to play the best of both worlds with all-timers. So, cutting the heat off of this, and then I'm going to drain it. Or I guess I should say, mostly drain it. So, apparently what you gotta do with this is you gotta pour about half a cup of the pasta water over here. Seriously, I've never thought of using pasta water for cooking until recently when I was looking up my sauces. But I guess the idea of this is that you want to thin out your sauce with some of this in case it's a bit too thick. And then once you have your half cup, you just have to drain the rest of the pasta. Keep it aside until later. Okay, not too much stuck to the bottom. And again, if you don't want your pasta to stick too much, rinse it out in cold water, and that will remove the starches and make it much easier to serve. I said I wasn't going to do a pasta tutorial, and here I am doing it again. Oh well, sometimes you just can't avoid the fate. You gotta have faith. Sorry people, I had a George Michael song in mind for a second. So I'll keep this aside until I'm ready. And then this sauce is going to be ready in about 3 minutes, 25 seconds. Oop, gotta adjust the camera again. Yeah, 3 minutes, 25 seconds, and then I'll be able to remove it from the heat. Okay, timer seems to be ready, so turning this off, cutting the heat, and putting it aside right here. So, my pasta water has been transported into one of these kind of cups over here. Reason being is I needed my liquid measuring cup to be able to measure 1 cup of heavy cooking cream, as you could see. Of course, if you don't have heavy cooking cream, you can always use, I guess, full fat milk, which I'm guessing is supposed to be homogenized milk, because I've never seen the term full fat up here. That must be an American term, because up here in Canada, we don't have that. So you're going to see that I'm aiming at the pot of sauce. And now here's a magic trick. Red turns into pink with this. Abracadabra, alakazam, open sesame, I guess? Does that actually work? So there. The cream is added in here, and now I'm going to give it a good, thorough stirring. And then as you can see, it's going to be blending in really well. And I don't know if you can tell from my angle, but this is actually becoming a lot more pink along the way. So it's definitely evolving into the rosé sauce. Evolving much easier than some Pokemon. So now that that's done, there's a few more things I can add into this too. And I suppose you're wondering, what else can I add to this? Well, seeing how I am the cheese factory, I gotta add a little bit of cheese into this. You can put like maybe 1/4 cup of Parmesan and then stir it in, which is gonna give it a nice amount of thickening along with the cream. Except I'm having issues with this hole. Come on, hole, open wide, open wide. There. Just a bit here, and I'll try to fight with this a little bit more, just so I can get close to 1/4 of a cup, or a little bit more. There's no such thing as too much cheese. Despite what some of you may think, I don't care. There is no such thing as too much cheese. Ooh, don't want to lose this. So stir it in, and now this should be thickening it up really well. Nice and creamy also. So you can check your seasoning to see if it's going to be tasting properly. I'm not going to taste it right now because I kind of trust my own judgment. But at this point, yeah, it's kind of thick, so then you would add a little bit of the pasta water in, just to dilute it slightly. And then you stir it, and then there's some other options you could do too, where you can add a little bit of basil as well. That would give it a nice bit of flavor, but you know what? It's already looking good. Yep, already looking good. As you can see, nice pink, and it really reminds me of really good rosé sauce. So overall, super satisfactory, with a copious amount of spaghetti to go with that too. Obviously, I'm not going to eat this in one sitting, because if not, then, you know, my stomach's probably not going to forgive me for the rest of the night. Before I serve this, maybe I should do something else. Probably whip up some cheese bread too. Double the cheese portion for us all. And so it begins. Supper time is finally bestowed upon us. I've got my rosé sauce, my pasta, my cheese bread over here, but I felt like I was missing a little bit of cheese. So I add a little bit of extra Parmesan onto this, because let's face it, there's no such thing as too much cheese, especially in the Cheese Cafe, right? So, let's give my very first rosé sauce a good taste. A good copious taste. Oh yes. Now that hit the spot just perfectly. I'm not going to taste my cheese bread because I know what that's like. And you've seen me whip up garlic bread before, so I don't need to give you a reminder of that. Good old hoppy skeleton brew. Not a bad way to finish off a Sunday, I have to say. Cooking went well once again. Good meals, good brews, hopefully enough cheesy jokes. And even got to feature one of my cats too, so what more can you ask for? So thanks for watching, everyone. This has been another edition of the Wandering Yuki Cheese Cafe, Pasta Edition Volume, I've lost count. So remember, everyone, hit that subscribe button below if you like what you see. Don't forget to leave a comment, leave a like if you want, Did I already say that? Okay, maybe I did, but I'm saying it again. So thanks again. See you all later, and hope you have a good, productive week.